Have you ever felt like a stranger to yourself? What if the key to unlocking your full potential has been quietly waiting inside you all along? And what if the ancient Stoics knew exactly how to help you find it, even in today's noisy, digital world? Let's begin with a timeless reminder from the Stoic Greeks. Know thyself. But in an age of constant distractions, social media filters, and surface-level identities, how do we truly come to know ourselves? Not just our personalities, but the full depth of our potential? In this video, you'll uncover 8 powerful Stoic techniques to help you better understand who you are and who you could become. This is more than just theory. It's a practical invitation to explore your mind's complexity and its untapped strength. So if you're on a journey of personal growth and deep self-discovery, stay with us until the end. This might just be the breakthrough you've been searching for. Watch yourself like you're watching a stranger. Have you ever paused and asked yourself, what would I think of me if I weren't me? This thought experiment lies at the heart of a profound Stoic practice. Observe yourself as if you were someone else. Imagine stepping outside your own skin and watching your actions and reactions from a distance, like a character in a film. Why is this so powerful? Because when we're inside our own heads, we're tangled in emotions, ego, and instinct. But the moment we shift our perspective, when we watch ourselves like a stranger, we remove the emotional fog. Think of it this way. Picture yourself as the protagonist in a movie. Would you admire their patience, question their decisions, cringe at certain reactions? This objective lens reveals our blind spots. It's not about harsh judgment, but about clarity. The Stoics encourage us to act like scientists studying an experiment, watching carefully without bias or emotional attachment. So the next time you feel anger bubbling up or insecurity taking, hold, pause. Don't just react. Step back and ask, why am I feeling this? Watch it. Study it. Let the emotion rise and fall, but don't become it. This isn't about denying emotions. It's about understanding them. Because in today's world, where feelings can shift as quickly as a trending hashtag, but carry consequences as real as any decision you make, emotional clarity is essential. Seneca said it best. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. When you learn to watch yourself without distortion, you begin to suffer less, not because life becomes easier, but because you stop confusing your imagination with the truth. Accept yourself completely, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Ever looked in the mirror and only noticed the flaws? We often do the same with our inner selves, focusing on failures, insecurities, and everything we think is wrong with us. But here's a truth many overlook. Real growth begins with full acceptance. Stoicism doesn't ask you to wear a smile and ignore your struggles. It invites you to face your entire self, light and shadow, and say, this is me. Not to justify bad behavior, but to be radically honest with yourself. Because only when you know where you truly stand can you begin to move forward. It's tempting to fixate on your weaknesses or past mistakes. But this self-criticism often builds a narrative that distorts who you really are. Instead, write it all down, your strengths and your shortcomings. Be brutally honest, but not cruel. Think of it like drawing a map. Your strengths are your tools. Your weaknesses are the areas you've yet to explore and improve. As Marcus Aurelius put it, accept the things to which fate binds you, and love the people with whom fate brings you together, but do so with all your heart. Acceptance doesn't mean settling. It means starting from truth. From that place, real transformation becomes possible. So, the next time you catch yourself focusing on your flaws, try asking, how can I grow from this? That shift in question could be the beginning of a new chapter. And speaking of new chapters, now that we've laid the foundation with clarity and self-acceptance, it's time to move even deeper. Let's turn to the next Stoic practice that reveals how your inner world truly shapes your outer life. As we learned in the last section, self-acceptance is the fertile ground from which real growth can take root. But once we accept ourselves, flaws and all, what comes next? Challenge yourself continually, but start small. Acceptance is powerful, but don't stop there. True growth begins when we step beyond our comfort zone, not to become someone else, but to become more of who we truly are. Think of your potential like a muscle. It needs recognition, but it also needs resistance to grow stronger. Stoicism reminds us that transformation doesn't happen by chance. It happens through consistent effort, but it doesn't have to be overwhelming. The key? Start small. You don't climb a mountain in one leap. You take it step by step. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus put it simply, "No great thing is created suddenly." Let that wisdom guide you. Want to be more patient? Start by pausing before you react in your next conversation. Wish to be healthier? Begin with a 10-minute walk, not a full workout. Looking to grow more confident? Practice your voice in front of a mirror before stepping into a crowd. Here's something practical you can try today. Pick one thing, just one, that you've been postponing or wanting to improve. Then break it down. What's the smallest possible step you can take toward it? Maybe it's reading one page or speaking up once. Do it, and then celebrate it. Because these small wins, they're not small at all. They're the foundation, stones of something far greater. Your potential is like a seed buried in the soil. With consistent water, your efforts, and light, your belief, it will grow. Maybe slowly but steadily. And every great journey, as the Stoics would say, begins with a single, deliberate step. Compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not to who someone else is today. Let's be honest. Have you ever scrolled through social media and suddenly felt like your life just wasn't enough? We've all been there, but that mindset is a trap. Here's a simple but powerful truth. The only comparison that truly matters is with the person you were yesterday. Why? Because your path is yours alone. Your progress, your setbacks, your triumphs, they're not meant to be measured against someone else's highlight reel. They're meant to be measured against yourself. And the beauty of this approach is that it's grounded in reality. Did you show a little more patience today? Did you speak a little more kindly or stand a little taller? Then you've grown. And that matters. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. So take that power and use it well." Every evening, pause and reflect. What did I do better today than I did yesterday? Maybe it's something small. Choosing a better meal, listening more attentively, or taking a moment to breathe before reacting. These small acts are not just fleeting moments. They are proof that you're evolving. Consider writing them down. Keep a journal, or even a note on your phone. Over time, this quiet record becomes a mirror of your growth, a reminder that you are never standing still. And most importantly, by focusing on your progress, not others' paths, you give yourself the freedom to grow on your own terms. You escape the endless race, and instead, you walk a meaningful path, one that's truly yours. Take responsibility for yourself. As you start recognizing your growth and progress, another shift begins to take place, one that changes everything. Let's explore that in the next section. Earlier, we talked about the importance of comparing yourself only to who you were yesterday. But that mindset naturally leads to something even deeper, taking full ownership of your life. Take responsibility for yourself. Imagine being in a boat with no one steering. You drift aimlessly, pushed by the wind, carried by the current. That's what life feels like when we refuse to take the wheel. Sometimes we blame the wind, our circumstances. Sometimes the current, other people. And other times, we chalk everything up to luck. But here's the truth. the more responsibility we take for our responses and decisions, the more control we gain over the direction of our lives. It's not about controlling the waves, it's about mastering how we sail. This idea flows naturally from our last point. When we stop comparing ourselves to others and start focusing inward, the next logical step is to say, "This is my life. This is my path. I own it." As Epictetus wisely said, we cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them. That shift from blame to ownership changes everything. Start by identifying areas in your life where you've been shifting blame. Maybe it's in your career, your relationships, or your personal goals. Ask yourself, what can I take ownership of here? What's within my power to change? And remember, this isn't about self-blame, it's about self-empowerment. Let's say a project at work falls apart. It's easy to point fingers, but instead ask, what could I have done differently? What lesson is here for me? This mindset not only fuels personal growth, it earns the respect of others. Why? Because people naturally trust those who take responsibility. The result? A deeper sense of control, maturity, and inner strength. You stop feeling like a victim of life and start living as the author of your story. And from this place of grounded self-leadership, we move into the next vital practice. 6. Choose your influence wisely. Every single day, often without realizing it, we are influenced by people, by media, by the environments we place ourselves in. It's like the air we breathe. Sometimes fresh and invigorating, other times toxic and suffocating. But unlike the weather, we can actually choose what we take in. As we just discussed, taking responsibility means more than owning your choices. It also means curating the voices that help shape those choices. Seneca once said, "Associate with people who are likely to improve you." And it's timeless advice. Look around. Who surrounds you? Are these people lifting you up or quietly pulling you down? Are your daily conversations filled with insight and encouragement, or gossip and negativity? Now ask the same about the media you consume. Does your feed fuel your growth or drain your spirit? Does that show, podcast, or post make you wiser or just more distracted? Your influences matter more than you think, because over time what you let in will shape what comes out of you. Your thoughts, your words, your choices. So take inventory. Don't feel guilty for distancing yourself from what dims your light. Instead, actively seek out what brightens it. Whether that's uplifting conversations, books that stretch your thinking, or mentors who walk the talk, let these voices guide your path. It's not about being rigid or judgmental. It's about protecting your focus and your future. Say yes only to what matters. Now that we've learned to filter our influences, there's one more filter we must apply, to our choices. Let's explore that next. As we just discussed, choosing your influences wisely helps shape your inner world. But there's another filter we need to apply if we want to stay aligned with our values, how we spend our time. Say yes only to what matters. Time is one of the most precious gifts we have, yet it's so easy to waste it. We often confuse being busy with being productive. But is everything you're saying yes to truly worth your time? Start by examining how you currently spend your day. Look at your schedule, your meetings, tasks, commitments, and ask honestly, does this contribute to my goals? Does this add meaning or value to my life? If the answer is no, then maybe, just maybe, it's time to let it go. Now, this doesn't mean you should avoid helping others or stop enjoying leisure. Stoicism isn't about becoming a machine. It's about being intentional. It's about balance. For example, before you agree to take on another project, attend that event, or say yes to one more obligation, pause. Ask yourself, will this bring me closer to the life I truly want? Or is it just another distraction in disguise? If it doesn't align with your deeper goals, it's okay to say no, politely, clearly, respectfully, because every yes you give to something unimportant takes energy away from what truly matters. This is the art of living with clarity, choosing quality over quantity, not just in your work, but in every area of your life. When your actions align with your values, fulfillment naturally follows. And speaking of fulfillment, that brings us to a Stoic principle that expands our focus beyond ourselves toward the people around us. Make others better. One of life's greatest sources of meaning isn't what we accomplish for ourselves, but what we contribute to others. In our pursuit of self-growth, we sometimes forget this truth. We become so focused on our own path that we overlook the quiet, powerful ripple effects we can create in someone else's life. True growth, according to the Stoics, is not only measured by our internal transformation, but by the uplift we offer to those around us. Seneca beautifully said, "Wherever there is a human being, there is an opportunity for kindness." And that's what this practice is about, extending the strength, insight, and stability you've cultivated outward, not with grand gestures, but through the small, meaningful actions that can brighten someone's day. Be a calming presence. Share a helpful perspective. Lend a hand when someone's overwhelmed. Encourage someone who's trying, failing, and trying again. You could mentor, volunteer, or simply show up with empathy and kindness. This isn't just about helping others, it also deepens your growth. Because when you pour into others, you reinforce the very virtues you're working to. Build within yourself. Your light doesn't dim by lighting another candle. In fact, it shines brighter. Bonus tip: start a daily journaling habit. If you've made it this far, here's a bonus technique that ties everything together, and it's one of the most powerful tools you'll ever use: journaling. Did you know that Meditations, the timeless Stoic work by Marcus Aurelius, was never intended for anyone else to read? It was simply his private journal, his way of practicing philosophy in real time. That tells us something profound. Writing is reflection. Journaling gives you space to explore your thoughts, question your habits, and anchor your insights. You don't need perfect grammar or a fancy notebook. Just show up with honesty, write freely, let your thoughts flow. Over time, you'll begin to notice clarity emerging from the noise. You'll see progress where you once saw chaos, patterns where you saw confusion, direction where there was only drift. As Seneca reminds us, true happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence on the future. And journaling is one of the best ways to bring yourself back to the present moment. Grateful, grounded, and growing. So, which of these Stoic practices resonated with you most? Share your thoughts in the comments. Let us know by writing, "I'm in search of wisdom." This conversation is just the beginning. Together, let's continue to uncover the timeless guidance of Stoic philosophy and walk this path of purpose, clarity, and transformation.